Monsieur le Président,
Mr. President, 4 years ago to the day, President Putin launched a large-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia's invasion is an act of aggression, one that is illegal, unprovoked, and unjustifiable. It also was a historic and disastrous mistake on the part of President Putin. This was a failure militarily and economically. Ukraine still exists, stronger and with more dedicated than ever. This war has made Ukrainians nor Russians safer. And yet that was the assertions of the ambassador of Russia during the first meeting of this special emergency session 4 years ago. On the contrary, Russia has gradually silenced freedom of expression for its citizens and has isolated increasingly from the rest of the world. It was Russia that blocked UN humanitarian aid as well as the access of human rights observers to its own territory and to the areas that it controls. It is Russia that arrested its own citizens for quoting the great Leo Tolstoy on Moscow's Red Square. Protests have been silenced, and at the same time, more than 1.2 million Russian soldiers have become victims of President Putin's war. This serious miscalculation by President Putin is not just a regional crisis. In reality, Russia's flagrant disregard for the territorial integrity and independence of a sovereign state remains a major threat to international peace and security. UN member states must remain united against violations of the UN Charter and attempts at annexation. We must work together to guarantee that international borders are not redrawn at will.
Mr. President, the global community also needs to act to protect those who have suffered most in this war, civilians across Ukraine and those displaced elsewhere. What the ordinary people of Ukraine have suffered and continue to suffer is unbearable. Families torn apart, lives lost, and homes destroyed. And Russia is escalating still. The UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine reported that 2025 was the deadliest for civilians since the first year of Russia's full-scale invasion. Civilian casualties rose by 31% from 2024. Russia's strikes on civilian energy infrastructure during this coldest of winters has caused enormous, indiscriminate suffering to families across Ukraine. Yet Ukrainians endure. And while the incredible bravery Ukrainians have demonstrated and continue to demonstrate deserves our praise, what Ukraine and Ukrainians need now more than ever is our action. As my Prime Minister repeated this morning, Canada will stand with Ukraine both throughout this horrific war and when peace finally comes. Canada announced today $2 billion additional in aid of Ukraine, including 400 light armored vehicles, a 3-year continuation of the Unifier training program for the Ukrainian military and its capacity, and $20 million to support the maintenance of energy infrastructure which has been damaged during this war. Other economic sanctions will also apply to get at the economic backing of this war. Canada is proud to co-chair with Ukraine the International Coalition for the Return of Ukrainian Children, focused on securing safe return of Ukrainian children forcibly transferred by the Russian state. We welcome the General Assembly's adoption of a resolution on this matter in December and appreciate the ongoing efforts of the United Nations to find and return Ukrainian children forcibly transferred or illegally deported by Russia. We will continue to work with these children, and we would welcome new members to the coalition. Mr. President, every member state here can help ordinary Ukrainians by joining the call on Russia for an immediate ceasefire. Canada was proud to co-sponsor the resolution tabled today by Ukraine. We thank member states which voted to support its adoption. Let the fighting cease. Let families leave their shelters, be reunited, and rest from their bravery, while a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace is achieved. We hope that President Putin finds the courage to recognize his mistake in launching this invasion, to withdraw his forces from Ukraine's internationally recognized territory, and start to reverse the damage he has caused to Ukraine, to Russia, and to the world. It is not too late. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.